Scotty, beam me up.
Smash.
Get over here. It is pointless to resist. Rascals, bite-sized chewy candies.
I'm telling you, they were red and green and purple.
Intense fruit flavors.
I've never seen anything like them on Earth. There's just so many of them!
Rascals, get them before they get you.
Hey, pretty funny movie, huh?
What are you, a nut? This is scary.
Scary? This isn't scary. If you want horror, you gotta go with the classics. Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman.
Ooh.
Spooky, huh?
Oh, they're cool. I could send one to my mother.
You'd mail these? These are special edition. You're really starting to freak me out.
Special edition stamps now at the post office. Some stamps you just can't lick.
And roll. All right. More Halloweeny geek den fun. Chris Stiles is with us. What's up, buddy?
What up, guys?
Glad to have you back, man. It's been a minute.
Thank you so much. I love the Geek Den. I'm the biggest nerd fan of your guys' show, so I feel lucky every time I get to come on. Thank you so much.
You're one of us. You know that. And Rachel Hoffman's back.
Hi, thank you for having me. Happy Halloween
Oh,
season.
of course. Happy Halloween.
Thank you.
Speaking of which, we just shot our Halloween special with Todd Staruch last week, and that was amazing.
Oh, Todd's great. I love it. I'm so glad.
Todd's
you guys
he's a
connected.
great dude.
Todd's
Such a
awesome.
great-
Yeah.
But Rachel, you've had some interesting stuff happening. We're not going to waste any time.
Let's not waste any time. Let's dive
Let's not.
in.
Let's just dive right in, see what you got going on.
Well, honestly, you guys have been with me through this journey now for, I can't believe it's only been a year. It feels like it's been a lifetime. And so the pre-production was going on, and there was a lot of excitement when we talked before. And since then, I have filmed The House That Eats Flesh, which was amazing. I had a wonderful time. Josh Graves is very organized and amazing, and he really cares about every single person that enters and leaves the environment. You know, he's very careful and COVID friendly. And so measures were taken on that set that I was really proud of. And the trailer was released a few days ago. So the entire team worked together for a very long time. The final death scene was about 11 hours. And I was the first kill, so I had blood in my ear canal so deep that it was in my brain for like 2 weeks. But so that was completely amazing. And then I got home and I was supposed to go film for Go Straight to Hell within a few weeks. And when I jumped on board with it, I realized there was zero organization. There was no home base, there was no actors hired. And the individual that was given for some reason, director rights, had zero experience in the field. So I kind of offered my hand to take over. And during that point in time, that individual sexually harassed me. So I went to the entire team and said, either it's him or me.
Right.
And so the entire team at that point in time, since I was getting everyone paid, getting people hired, getting flights organized, getting all the costumes taken care of, everything that you can imagine. Everybody was taken care of and hired because of me. So 77 people were to go and come in 14 days. And that was a huge responsibility that I took on, and I didn't get paid for it. I was supposed to get paid for it. I'm under contract to be paid. So there will be, retribution eventually, but unfortunately, it was extremely abusive for me to be out there for 6 weeks with the expectation that when I left that I was going to be taken care of and my coming and going was going to be taken care of with travel. And that's not what occurred at all. And it wound up developing into something very strange, and my life was threatened multiple times. And I felt as though it was just brushed under the rug, like no big deal. I went back to the house that I was staying at, the B&B, after an overnight where I woke up and my rental van was gone. When I woke up, I was alarmed. My van was gone. My friend was gone. I searched everywhere. I couldn't find her or my van. And I called everyone for about 6 hours. And no one knew where she was or knew what was going on. And finally, I tracked her down and I tracked down the van. And everybody kind of was kosher. They didn't seem to say anything about the situation that had occurred with the van. Well, apparently there was some drama going on. And when I got back to the set, it was put on me. This was with 72 hours left of filming, 3 scenes left, and 3 actors left. So I was completely crushed at the prospect of not finishing the movie because of drama that happened after hours that had nothing to do with me. And so this mentally unstable person the next day also threatened my life with a knife. And I didn't say anything because I didn't want her to be arrested at the time. And so afterwards, I came home, I just let the dust settle. I talked to the actual production company who wanted me to stay on and wanted me to salvage what was left of this movie. And since then, I've been threatened by the investor who has been taken off the IMDb because of the inappropriate behavior. And I basically have been left with, the option of whether or not I want to save this movie. And honestly, I'm not sure at this point if I do or not, based off of what I have been through. But I've taken away from it a series that I have been working on since then. And so I took that as my payment for the 6 weeks of drama that I put up with and everything that I had done for this movie not to be produced. It is a sham, and it's a shame. And this is going on in the indie community time and again, where people are raising money and not producing movies. And these things need to be rectified. They need to be talked about. They need to be rectified. So if you raise $120,000 for a movie and you don't produce it, that's fraudulent behavior. People are going out on the whim thinking that they are, they're supporting something that they love. But what happens instead is they're giving something to something that's never produced. And so where does this money go? It's not fair to run a campaign and ask for a specific amount of money, and then that money doesn't go to the arena of interest. That's fraudulent behavior. And I myself, I'm seeing it now because for 6 weeks, I wasn't paid for what I was promised to be paid for. And my work was very public. I was posting, as you all know, as friends on Facebook, I was posting the calendars, the place, the B&B, all of the scheduling, all of the costumes, all of the people that I booked, all of the interactions, and everything was fine, which was it completely blindsided me with drama. And I wondered if in the end it was because they didn't want to pay me. So they were using any excuse to get to that conclusion. We'll use this excuse not to pay you. I'm not really sure what happened there, but I'm exposing the situation basically for what it is, which is fraud. So you took money from investors and you had people come out to this location based off of that. Contractually, they're being paid for acting. They're being paid for their travel. They're being paid for what their contract says they're being paid for. and suddenly they disappear and there's no availability and you've been outed and that's it. Like, that response came in the same day as the text messages that I posted earlier. My complete and utter confusion as to what happened to my rental van on the set of this movie, where my van was that was under my name.
Right.
I was concerned about these behaviors because that put me at risk. I wondered where my friend was who had disappeared overnight, and I had heard nothing. And so the next day I had been verbally attacked by this person and physically attacked where a knife was pulled out of a butcher block. And then later on, the story turned around to somehow I was patronizing the girl to suicide. And that is a heavy, heavy thing to say about someone, especially when I invited her onto a set. I had nothing to do with her borrowing the rental van and then from there taking it and getting pulled over with it by a police officer. It's unfortunate, but people make decisions and they have to stick to them. That's got nothing to do with me. So unfortunately, that production met that demise because of the drama created after hours on the set.
That's insane.
And I had to put up with the abuse, the sexual misconduct and things like that. And I'm speaking out about it because at this point in time, especially with all the safety issues going on these sets, my life was put in danger. I was uncomfortable. I mean, not to speak of anything, I'm a full-grown woman, but I was put in an uncomfortable situation by these full-grown men who knew better. We were doing extremely sensitive rape scenes where these full-grown men that were on our crew couldn't hold themselves together, where these young ladies who were playing these parts that were very sensitive parts were able to hold themselves together. I have my crew members, showing teeth to the actors during this point in time. And it was an unfortunate situation because we're all just left completely uncomfortable. We're here to do a job. We're here to do a very sensitive scene. It was for me to do the directing and for the camera individual to hold the camera. And because I'm a female, there was a lot of conflict going on. Everything had to have an answer. Everything had to have a response. Meanwhile, I've been producing for 20 years. It's not a new ball game for me. And I had things that I produced previous to this, which could be looked up and seen and sought after. And I literally I came with reference. And so it wasn't like I just fell off the turnip truck, but I wasn't being given the respect that I deserve because I'm a female. And so, let alone left in that situation, you're in a high, intense situation. And now we have an actor arguing with the cameraman. And now the actor can get heated. He can get upset. That's okay. He's the actor. The camera person is supposed to maintain themselves under all circumstances. We have people that are highly sensitive, getting ready to do a highly sensitive scene. When you're an actor, you have to channel something within yourself for these parts. So you have to dig deep within yourself for some trauma that happened to you in your past. So these individuals are kind of wide open, sensitive, wide open, emotional, and they don't need to be pushed, especially when they've acted and choreographed the scenes together previous to coming into the scene. They don't need the cameraman jumping in and starting to say, it's a very sensitive scene. It's like, these women are being asked to do these scenes and they're holding themselves together. And we have a full-grown man who's unable to do his job, which is simply point and film. Do not interact, do not show face, do not tell people how to maintain their safety when they're choreographed previous to this and they're able to dance through this, together. Respect the act that is theirs, respect the hat that they wear. And there was so much going on that the masculinity was, you could cut it with a knife.
Yeah. That's
awful. You know, it reminds me a lot. I have a friend who was a filmmaker. He used to work for Roger Corman. She made a movie in 1998 called Some Nudity Required. And it's basically, it's like the first Me Too documentary ever. And it happened 20 years before Me Too. And it's just this heartbreaking story. And what's even more heartbreaking than the stories involved in the film, and a lot of people put in similar situations that spoke out, you know, as you're doing, they ended up, their careers, you know, they got blacklisted. And, you know, I hate to say it, Roger Corman was such a hero of mine forever, but, you know, learning the way that he responded to this documentary coming out and speaking out against B movies and, you know, that kind of stuff, and the horrors that, you know, a lot of actresses had to go through in the 80s and 90s. It's awful, and you feel like nothing's changed. But this documentary, if you haven't seen it, you know, you should really check it out.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to find because Roger Corman flexed every muscle he had to make sure it never got a proper release in the United States. So there's some versions of it online you can track down. And that's almost what's more heartbreaking is the story of the film itself. It got like a cobbled together release in Europe, and they dubbed, you know, the director's voice out of it, who also narrates it because it's her life story. It's just heartbreaking, but awful that this stuff still goes on. You know, everybody should be respected, and it goes on in every type of industry at every level, you know. But everybody needs to be treated with respect and to be safe and to be compensated for their work and to be put in an environment free of harassment.
Yeah, the safety thing is number one. And the second thing is accountability. Like, who do we hold accountable for these things? Like, let's climb that ladder. Like, I have newspapers scattered around my house with Alec Baldwin's name on them because of what happened on the set right now. When I came out 24 hours before that happened, talking about we need to out this situation, my stalker was allowed on the set in Oklahoma, on the set with a real gun. And I called the police and tried to have him removed from my set. I didn't want to give up my contract and what I had promised to do for a job and disappoint anybody. And you're put in an abusive situation like that. And basically, I felt like my hands were tied. I was forced to do a production with my stalker there. Fortunately, Stormy Daniels was there with me, and she took over the production, and she really smashed her foot down, and she was able to kind of create a good scene for us. And we finally were able to, on the set of Axe to Grind, get 30 minutes of dialogue, which is all the movie has, which is why you haven't seen it.
right.
It's been in the hands of Stephen Nemeth. And so unfortunately, everything that he touches is not going to be produced. It is unfortunate, but there are people that like to peacock a lot, and they like to pretend that they have skills that they really do not have. And it's an unfortunate thing, but he has sat on that movie since December 2020. And now here coming upon us is 2022, when the release date was promised. Now we have how many investors that put in on that? Thousands of dollars of money that for a movie that isn't produced. And I understand B movies, but believe me, there was no budget to that movie. There was zero props, zero imagination. Stormy came in, she's like, where's the props department? Like, what is this? She had to put on the director hat to be able to get anything done in this situation. Everybody was completely being disrespectful, to the point where we were in a club, a dance club, where we were supposed to be filming the intro for Honey Voodoo for the Axe to Grind, and my stalker's in there filming the girls' crotches instead for literally hours. My one thing I was supposed to say is, hi, my name is Honey Voodoo. And for 2 days, I walked around in fishnets with my rear end hanging out so that I could get that line out of my mouth, and it never happened. I was barricaded in the bathroom, and the staff had to come in and pull me out of the bathroom. And shame on Spencer Gray, of all people, who put this production together and walked out on every single person there. He was talking about being a feminist. He's talking about being a good man. We told him all of the problems. He watched me being taken out of a bathroom being surrounded by the crew and cast because they were the ones protecting me, but they weren't the ones that were responsible for protecting me. If there was insurance on these sets, which I seriously hope there is, because I'm going back and I'm going to take legal action at this point. My life has been threatened multiple number of times, and if I don't start acting on it, no one is going to. And if I don't start speaking on it, no one is going to know better. And I want to make sure that this doesn't happen to the next person. And it's not specifically female. I know people that this is going on with on a consistent basis. And a lot of our investors, especially in these horror movies that have, you know, prolific porn stars and people getting naked, we have a baseline of men of like 90% of our investors are male. That is still fraudulent to them. Not making a movie that you ask for money to make. That is wrong on every level. It's going to destroy it for the rest of us when we're trying to make decent movies.
Yeah. That's the shit of it.
The, you know, indie community especially has a hard enough time getting respect. And horror movies have always been treated as, on the industry totem pole, as like half a notch above porn, you know, like not even a full notch in the eyes of the snobby people at the top of the industry. So,
right.
You know,
What makes it great is the boobs and the blood. Like, let's be honest.
You know,
I know. I mean, I've always watched because pretty girls and horror are like a vibe. It's not just a guy thing. So we're coming to learn, you know, like it.
I think there is more to it than that. I'm not going to say I'm above boobs and blood by any stretch of the fucking imagination. but like some of my favorite horror movies of all time are movies like Monster Squad or Friday 6, you know, which has no boobs and very little blood. Halloween is another one of my favorites, has no blood. The Exorcist has almost no blood, you know. I mean, I guess that's kind of gory, but the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, another one of my favorites, no blood. Or very little blood.
Well, the B-roll movies generally they're a little bit less stringent, you know, they aren't formatted to fit your TV type of thing. So I think because they head straight to DVD, they have a little bit more freedom than something that's formatted for a movie. So, I mean, because of the rating and the value and things like that. So it's understandable. But I know for myself, I watch for like the cheesy ground FX are my favorite, especially like, you know, like really badly timed ones.
Shitty
And
effects.
it's funny. It's like the cult classics that like really like put a new spin on it. But that's my vibe. I love that kind of entertainment. You know, it's not going to make it to Paramount because of the structure, but it doesn't give me any less of a love for it, especially when people are independent and they're coming up with these great ideas. You know, and there are people in the indie community they're not reliable. So you don't have to pay them until after they leave. So basically, like, people are like, okay, well, if I don't show up, it's no skin off my ass. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I've been in situations with these movies now where the actors that are supposed to be there just don't show up. You know, like, what are they losing by not showing up to this? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen some interesting kills come out of the woodwork because they are forced to, you know, come up with, like, the killer doesn't show up. Like, are we all just going to kill ourselves here? So Josh Graves, I have to give him credit for that. He really came up with a lot of great kills on the fly. Yeah, awesome. You know, it shows you a level of teamwork when you can produce a movie and get it done, you know, with people that are insignificant and not showing up. So it's, you know, it's amazing. That's movie magic for you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love, like, when you can improv on the movie set like that. You got something special. You need to keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
Because you don't get to see that a lot anymore.
No, you don't. That's some Steven Spielberg shit, I tell you. Like you look back on his skills, and during E.T. he like kept the film rolling, and it was just, it's cinematic, it's beautiful, the background is dirty like it would be in a house, like it's lived in, you know.
Yeah.
You don't see enough of that anymore.
Jaws, of course, the shark, nothing ever worked. You know, the shark never worked, and they kept the movie going.
Yeah.
You know,
You gotta making this sound
I think it was Tom Hanks or someone said about Spielberg. He's like, no matter what you say you have for as an idea, his response is always going to be the same exact thing. And he goes, I know exactly how to shoot that. You know, like what if we changed this and did this to like that? And he goes, I know exactly how to shoot that.
That's perfect. And yeah, you want to let your actors, I'm a director at this point, and you know, I got done filming teenagers yesterday, and let me just tell you, they were easier and funner to work with than I can even, they're yes ma'am, like, you know, so cooperative. They're in the game. They're fast. They want to be cooperative, and they're, you know, like it's freezing where we are, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and they have no jackets on, and they're not complaining, and it speaks volumes as to you know, the pampered adult lifestyle that we expect when we walk onto these sets. And these are B movies. Like, we have no room for divas. You know what I mean? These people are not mega famous in this industry because they're douchebags, because they're not. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be kind, and you have to be flexible, or no one's going to want to work with you.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. I can't remember who said this one, but it was like, just be nice, show up on time, and do good work. You'll always, you know, someone will call you for another job.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I feel I have to turn things away sometimes, you know what I mean? And I'm a pretty kind individual. It gets me into trouble sometimes, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I feel you there. I find myself to be quite the nice person, and it, not that people take advantage of it, but like, I just can't, I have a hard time saying no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I get myself into predicaments that I can't get out of sometimes.
If I say no, I fall back on one of my life, you know, via movies as a religion mottos. Just always trying to think of what would Mr. Miyagi do. So if he like couldn't do something, it would probably be for, you know, some very good reason.
Yeah.
So I try and get out of things that way, or in some sort of Zen Miyagi way. It doesn't always work.
That is so funny that you say that. I was watching The Karate Kid yesterday, and he was like, you know, he was doing all of his shouts, and it was like, I kept joking around. I'm like, God bless you. Because he got all of these things like, oh. Like, I mean, he was fierce. He was going crazy with his ninja hands, you know? I love
Mr.
that.
Mr. Miyagi was awesome.
Yeah, now I have to use that.
Yeah, whenever you're faced with a problem, just think, what would Mr. Miyagi do? You know, at least he'll get you in the right.
And I'll just start going like this.
Yeah, sometimes Mr. Miyagi will kick some ass. You know.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes he will do that when all other options are exhausted. That's always on the table. Of course, that's like the one thing I can't do.
In your mind, you can go.
I can totally do like the Daniel LaRusso at the beginning of the first movie. Like, I can get my ass kicked with the best of them. Like on the beach, I'll keep getting back up just like he did. You know, I'll eat sand. Then I'll get all moody and just, you know, leave me alone. I can do that scene. I got that down pat.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Yeah, it sounds about right. No, the part where he's falling over and shit like that. That's me.
Someone was asking me about that the other day. You know, there's only like 3 film series that become like religious for me. It's Karate Kid, Bill and Ted, and Back to the Future. I guess maybe Star Wars could almost be there, but I don't know, not quite. They've fucked it up too much in recent years.
Yeah.
we all have our favorites. I feel like, you know what I mean.
But I mean, like, straight up, the meaning to life is in those movies. Exactly. Like Bill and Ted. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. That is one of like the tenets of a good life.
Yep.
I love it.
You know, Karate Kid, you know, balance, focus, like aggression, you know, or like it's about a defensive art versus an offensive sport, you know. And I feel like there's a lot of life lessons there. And of course, Back to the Future, at the end of the trilogy, your future's whatever you make it, so make it a good one.
Aww.
I mean, right there. Those are like the 3 commandments.
Yeah.
I love that.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox is so badass too.
Oh, the coolest.
love
I mean,
MJF.
forget James Dean.
That's the real MJF.
He's the only guy who could hit the J chord, and that's why the Johnny B. Good scene is so good. It's the J
You know
chord.
what's crazy? Did you ever see there was somebody casted before him?
Eric Stoltz.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the clips of that?
It's so
it's
weird.
so creepy.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's so creepy to
Weird
think that could have
shit.
been our 80s future or our 80s history, because it's just so dark.
That
Well,
like,
I've
I
always
kind of want to visit the parallel universe where that movie does exist.
I would love to watch it, just out of curiosity.
Did
But
you
I
see
also
it?
feel like
No.
it's kind of the overlooked part of that story to me is the fact that they wanted Michael J. Fox from the get-go. He wasn't available because of family ties, so it came down to C. Thomas Howell and Eric Stoltz. And everyone, and I mean everyone, wanted C. Thomas Howell except for one person, and that was the head of Universal. And Eric Stoltz had just done this movie Mask with Cher and Peter Bogdanovich, who was like a big
Great
director.
movie.
Yeah, great movie. And
Great
so
film.
this, Ned Tannins thought, Eric Stoltz is like the star of the future, and I want him at our studio, and blah. That was kind of the way they used to do things back in the day, and like studio multi-picture deals and this and that. So he kind of put his foot down. He's like, it's got to be Eric Stoltz. It's got to be Eric Stoltz.
Yeah.
And so they like reluctantly went with Eric Stoltz. When C. Thomas Howell, they never would have shut that movie down if they'd cast him. They would have finished it and been happy enough with it and released it. I'm not saying it would have been quite as good. Like Michael J. Fox is great. I love C. Thomas Howell, but like he would have been at the very least competent. Like Eric Stoltz was like method and weird in so many ways, and he was like everyone had to call him Marty except for Leah Thompson, because he was like trying to get with Leah Thompson. He had the hots for it, whatever. And like he was just rude to everyone on the crew. Like when they announced that they were firing him, they were like, yeah, we have some bad news. Like Eric is no longer with us, or Eric's no longer going to be part of the production. And someone from the crew shouted out, that's certainly not the bad news. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I saw
okay.
the tone of the movie was dark. I felt like, like it was definitely, it says a lot about the individual. And like I was saying earlier about the channeling, you channel something within yourself to, get to the character, and you build the character.
Yeah. And the funny, I could talk about that movie and that casting shakeup for days and days and days. Like C. Thomas Howell tells this funny story where he's like, okay, so then they cast Eric Stoltz, and then I'm eating breakfast one day in LA, and into the restaurant walks Eric Stoltz and his crew of guys, like looking like he just got run over by a truck. And I go to one of his boys, I'm like, what's up? They're like, oh, Eric Stoltz, you didn't hear? He got fired. Eric got fired today from Back to the Future or whatever. And then C. Thomas Howell's like, so I'm thinking, maybe I'm back in.
Oh my god!
And of course not. They get the great Michael J. Fox, and it's amazing.
Well, now we know there's a universe where that movie exists.
Yeah.
That's the one I really would want to see, because I feel like I could still enjoy it. Maybe not as much again, but I love C. Thomas Howell. Poor C. Thomas, man. He was also almost Daniel LaRusso in The Karate Kid. I think he was like the runner-up for that.
Oh, yeah.
Either one of those movies would have changed, obviously, his life.
So
to a big
different.
degree.
I love watching
But
the
we
runner-up
wouldn't-
stuff, like seeing who it would have been.
Oh yeah, I love like Tom Selleck as Indiana Jones.
Right.
I know, right? You can't
He was
picture
this one-
anybody else, right?
Yeah, you can't picture anyone else. But then like, oh okay, yeah, he was gonna do it, but then he couldn't get out of Magnum PI, and then George Lucas, Spielberg wanted Harrison Ford the whole time, and Lucas was like, I already did 2 movies with this guy, all right?
Right.
I don't want him to be my Bobby De Niro. And then so they got Selleck, and then Selleck couldn't get out of Magnum PI, and then it was like, come on, it's Harrison. Like, all right, fine.
I couldn't picture Spellick in the part though.
I can't picture Indiana
I can
Jones with a
picture it. It
mustache.
just wouldn't have been what it was, Like Harrison Ford does it, and it's Harrison Ford. Tom Selleck does it, and it's kind of like an Alan Quartermain movie. It's nothing against Tom Selleck, but it's
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
it's
It's more
like-
like Romancing the Stone
Yeah.
than it is Indiana
I love that
Jones.
movie.
I love that movie too, and that movie's the reason Back to the Future got made.
Yep.
Because Zemeckis directed that, and that was a hit. I actually met Zemeckis. He was a really nice guy, fun, interesting guy to chat with for a sec.
Yeah.
It was right when the Cubs were like on the verge of winning the World Series. The year that they predicted it.
In 2015,
in 2015, so it was the year before they actually won it.
Right.
But like we're both from Chicago. I'm from Chicago. He grew up on the South Side. And so like I asked him, I was like, as a Cubs fan, like in Chicago, and I just had to ask you, like, are you watching the Cubs this year? He's like, yeah, man, I'm watching them with one eye open.
Keep every eye on that shit.
But then that was at like one of the like some screening for the walk. The guy that walks the tower between the Twin Towers, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Jean-Philippe Petit, I think his name was. Really good movie, and really, I watched it like in IMAX 3D, and even though like I know the guy's alive, he's literally sitting like 2 rows behind me. Like while we're watching the movie, I'm still like when he's up there and it's IMAX 3D, I'm like, oh my god, like I need the paper bag and shit, like losing my shit because I don't like heights. So
yeah, it shows a lot of like down views and shit, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Fuck that.
And it looks, and it's all CG because those fucking buildings aren't even, there anymore. But even still,
yeah, like I don't have an issue with heights, but like if there's nothing below me, fuck that.
Yeah, I watched like a roller coaster fucking POV video on YouTube, and like that's enough for me. I'm like, like get on some solid ground for a second.
Like, I love roller coasters. I love drop towers and shit like that. But like, if I'm on a platform, like on a tower, I can always just look right over the edge and nothing, because I'm steady. I'm on a platform. But if there's no platform, fuck that. If there's no rail to hold on to, if you can just like dangle your feet over the edge, nope.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like a cliffside or something, like a really high cliff. If you can just go out to there's like a little like kind of plank looking thing you can just dangle your feet off of. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'm actually not the worst with roller coasters. I don't like big drops, but other than that, but I did do this Superman ride at like Six Flags in Jersey, and it's like they put you in the seat and then you like literally go horizontal, like
you're
super,
flying,
And it was the weirdest experience because you can't see the track in front of you.
Oh god!
So it literally looks like, and like so you don't know where you're going at any point in time. Like part of a roller coaster is like seeing it before you go, the anticipation of it, and they actually put that aspect. If you look at to bring it back to Indiana Jones, the Temple of Doom, the minecart chase, that's the way they shot that whole scene, is that like you see the turn and then you like kind of, then they hit the turn, and that's, which is, so that whole scene is done incredibly well. They actually used like a still camera for part of it because it was smaller, and they loaded 35mm film in it 1 frame at a time. They did like stop motion plates. There's so many cool techniques they did on that movie.
It's so cool to watch those now. Like you can watch them and kind of see the, how much went into it. Like it's just crazy. I love that era, especially with some of the Jim Henson stuff added to it. Like I don't know if you're a Jim Henson fan or not. I know I am. Mm-hmm. But
I love
the imagination. Yes.
I know it's not like the Creature Shop Jim Henson stuff, but like I could watch Muppet Babies forever and never get sick
the
of
original Muppet Babies.
Yeah. Well, it makes me feel safe, okay?
It's like a warm blanket, like that kind of stuff.
It's like a hug.
And like those, like we just had it better as kids back then. I mean, I was a kid during those years, and that was just like, that made Saturday morning so dope because not only did you get Muppet Babies, but they would do like Indiana Jones stuff, Star Wars stuff, Star Trek stuff, Back to the Future stuff.
Before
like they would do all kinds
there
of.
was lawsuits for stuff like that. That was fun. Yeah. That was a good time.
Well, I think there were back then, but Jim Henson was just like, everyone wanted to be on good with him. So like,
I think
you were honored. It's like if Mel Brooks parodied your movie, like you're not gonna sue Mel Brooks. Like, come on.
Like if Weird Al parodies one of your songs.
Yeah, fucking A. The only person that ever got pissed is Coolio. And where is he now?
Right?
I'm like, Google.
A few people told him
I don't know.
Prince and Paul McCartney. But...
I know you're watching, Coolio. We love you. It's all fun.
He's like glued to the screen.
He's the reason I got into the Leprechaun movie. We can talk about that when we come back from our break.
Yep.
Oh, Coolio and the Leprechaun movies. That sounds like a hell of a bumper. That sounds like
We'll probably
can't tune away now.
All right, we'll be right back.
Now, Hordak reveals the most gruesome trap ever. The Horde Slime Pit.
The what?
The Slime Pit.
Now, Spike, or you're my slave, not the slime. Yes, my slime will overpower you. I've been slimed. No one escapes the evil Horde Slime Pit. Yes.
The Evil Horde Slime Pit from the Masters of the Universe. You put it together. Action figures each sold separately from Mattel. My pet monster.
He's bigger than big.
When he fights battles, he always wins.
And he's your friend, too.
He breaks his chains.
Put him on you and break away, too.
With my pet monster, you're busting loose.
He's big.
And scary.
And helps people, too.
And he's your friend, too.
My pet monster plays all day.
Tough.
Awesome.
Looking great.
And all your friends will want him for their friends, too.
My pet monster has breakaway chains from Amtoy and American Greetings Company.
Hit the button. All right, we're back. Where did I leave off? Coolio and Leprechaun.
Indeed.
Coolio and Leprechaun.
3 things you have to remember before this. Yeah.
Well, I bring it up because last week I was on Chris's show, VCR Redux, over at Fandom Spotlight, and we talked about the Leprechaun movies, and I wanted to touch on classic horror because we always like to do that here. Rachel, we talked a little bit about that last time you were on. We talked about, what was it, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, like just stuff like that. Stuff we watched, like Leprechaun. I just spent a week watching these movies so I could be prepped and ready for Chris's show. And as much as I love the movies, I'm very thankful I don't have to watch them for a while.
Did I tell you the last time that we were on that Leprechaun was the movie that I was like, that was like the movie that fucked me up?
You said Trolls, I think it was.
Trolls. Oh my god. I'm all fucked up. Yeah, no, that was it. It was like they opened the basement door and then like it was crazy. That one fucked me up too.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but they used to give little people a lot more positions back in the 80s. You know, there was a lot more, and especially the horror community, because there was a definite vibe going on. I was fearful of that.
You just triggered an acid flashback for me. The movie Trolls. No, it's different than Troll 1 and Troll 2. There's a movie called Trolls, right?
Yeah.
That I just had like a, not like a Vestron, but like a New World Pictures like acid flashback of the 80s. Like a VHS acid flashback. Sorry, I went away for a sec. Now I'm back. Wow.
No, it was that Heather chick that was Heather that from Poltergeist.
Heather
O'Rourke, yeah. Oh my god.
And she was so pretty. She was such a pretty little girl, and they're like, "We're gonna turn you into a troll." And I kind of resembled her, and I'm like, "Oh my god, they're gonna turn me." I'm done for. And like, it was like the little things, like, and it's strange because I'm a paranormal investigator. I'll go down like death tunnels and stuff like that. But seriously, like, I'll still hide my feet underneath the blankets. Like, I am so juvenile. It's crazy, but I'll think about them when out like the little troll hands and everything, like coming up out of the blankets. I'm like, I am fearful.
Not gonna
lie.
lie.
Man, I need to go back and watch that like immediately.
Yeah. I gotta watch it now too.
You ever have those movies you watch on TV when you're a kid and you're channel surfing? It's like before there was even a preview channel, and like you don't know what it was called, but you watch the whole thing and you grow up and you can never fucking find it.
Ever.
I think about this and I go down this rabbit hole a couple times a year. There was some horror movie I watched where like a brother and a sister are home alone, you know, their parents are out for the night, and there's like some fucking monster terrorizing them in their house, and the thing ends up like in their parents' jacuzzi or something. I can't remember anything else about it, but I remember really digging it other than that. And it's killed me for years.
Damn you, Chris Stiles.
But I recently found one of those movies, so anything is possible thanks to the internet.
That's true. I had one that the girl, I was like channel surfing much like that, and it was like these Muppets, but they were like sexy, and it was like on after hours. It was almost like it was almost like Adult Swim for the 80s, if you will. So the chick was like really pretty. She kind of reminded me of like the Dark Crystal. But this girl was like totally trashy, but it was so like, I was like, oh my God, she's so pretty. And her mascara was like down on her face, and she had like black spray paint right here for her roots like growing out. And it was just like, I was channel surfing. So, I mean, like if you can find that, it looked like a Jim Henson thing, but it was like totally like inappropriate. Like they were like, the Muppets were so pretty and they were so well made, but it was, and then my mom caught me watching it. She's like, don't you watch that? So, it was bad. But it was on TV. So, but we had HBO.
Dude, the thing that I watched, it was definitely on like fucking WGN, because that was like the only shit I had, had to, because it was like too low budget to have been on like Fox or like even like UPN or WPWR, whatever it was back then. Maybe actually it might have been WPWR. Fuck.
That makes it easier to find, but back then if you put like tinfoil on your antennas, you could actually channel God. So I mean, there was a few times I could match my radio to, because I lived out in the country with my father. My parents were divorced, and so there's times where you can like match your radio to the black and white TVs, and there was like the 4 general stations. But if you wrapped enough tinfoil on that little bad boy, and you took a wire hanger and you MacGyvered it, you could actually get some good shit. I think I watched like Swan's Crossing or something on that, like after I
think Tim Allen and Martin Short did that once, and that's how Joel Osteen was born.
Oh, that fucking meme just came back.
Oh yeah, that's
my
a good one.
God.
That's so goddamn
Did you
good.
ever see the meme? It says, somebody told me
he looks like Martin Short
Joel
playing
Osteen
Tim
looks
Allen.
like Martin Short playing Tim Allen.
Yeah, now I can't unsee it. Yeah, it's so
Yeah, you
good.
can't see it.
It's so good.
It's just seared into my fucking retinas.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh God.
Speaking of mashups, I did
Yes,
bring a few with
please.
me here today. You guys, do I have sharing privileges or? Let me
drag. Hit the button.
Like that. Okay, now I can do it. So, okay. Well, we talked a little bit about Mr. Miyagi, and because Martin Cove shared this, I feel like I just have to share it with you guys.
Martin Cove shared this?
Martin Cove actually shared this recently,
That's
and I was
awesome.
blown away. It's one of my favorites. I did this one about a year ago. This is like the ultimate buddy cop movie that I want. Like Miyagi and Kreese, like forced to work together. Like just fucking perfect. It would have like just shamed all other buddy cop movies for even trying.
I love it. I love it.
I hate CGI, but I hope that somehow we can get Andy Serkis to just play Miyagi and make this happen. And
That's
just
so
like
perfect.
I'll write the script and I'll use it with recycled lines. So they can use audio clips from the Karate Kid movies. We'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. We'll get we'll do it.
For those that don't know,
creative.
that was originally
And,
Jay Leno in the Martin Cove role. We touched on that the first time.
That was
Chris
it was
on
so
the show.
creative and well thought out.
Yeah, that was just
Like
classic.
the multiverse.
The multiverse.
You shared that the first time you came on, Chris.
Did I share that one before?
Yeah, you
Okay.
absolutely did. Man.
Well,
I
I'm
laughed
sorry for.
I'm seeing it for
No,
the first time.
no
so.
need to apologize. I love repeats. I laugh the same every time.
Well, I try and only repeat once a year, so I guess I violated my rule.
No, it's all
but
good.
Shame on
Here's
you.
one.
I'm just kidding.
Here's a new one, which is really I hate false advertising, and like every time I hear this is what I wish it was, but it's not, and that's just always gonna bother me. This is what Machine Gun Kelly should be. I still don't know what Machine Gun Kelly even really is, and I don't want you guys to tell me. It's better for me if I can hold on to this dream.
If you really found out, it would probably crush you. So
Yeah, I'm gonna,
let's not do that.
gonna
Let's keep
assume-
you as delusional as hell.
Exactly. speaking of getting delusional, I think that brings me to this wish list of a movie. I really wish that Cheech and Chong were still making movies in the 90s, so we could have gotten this. I think, Whitney and Cheech and Chong, it's just the perfect fucking movie. It doesn't get any better for me.
Whitney's not here, man.
Another one with CGI. If we can make Miyagi come back from the multiverse, we can bring back Whitney for one more outing. Come on, Whitney. I know you're watching in heaven. I will always love you.
I will always love you.
And another thing I will always love is the prospect of, not just aiming to be bad, but instead to be bad. I just wish this was a real thing. I don't know how it works, but this is a guy that I want to know. I want to be best friends with this guy. That dude. I want to work with him. I want to want to console him when he has. Yeah. I don't even golf, but I want to go golfing with this guy. It's just the epitome of cool right there. Bring back the best of the 80s and the best of the 90s, and you just smush it together. And that's what life should be, but it's not. But that's all I brought for today. So thank you for humoring me in my silly art form.
I love it. I think they banned that last hair product though, and that last thing. So
Soul Glow is it's just because of Corona.
Breaking people's hair.
You know what though? For all we know, Soul Glow would cure COVID. And we're just all fools for not using it.
That's where we went wrong.
That's what I think. They should have figured out a way for everyone to have jerry curls. It's the coolest hair ever.
Totally. We gotta bring it back, man.
We'll figure out a way.
Made me think of
I'll
this.
start it.
All right.
Okay.
I'll follow.
The scene in Coming to America when his parents get off the couch and you see the stains.
I still do the walk. I just do it. And then if people get it, they get it. If they don't, they just don't.
I worked with a guy who only quoted for maybe about a year and a half. The only conversations we ever had never had anything to do with the fact that we were both in a restaurant and probably should have talked to each other about food and tickets and things like that, specials, whatever. But no, all he would do is quote Karate Kid 2, Weird Science, or fucking brain fart now. What one were we just talking about?
Coming to America.
Coming to America. So it would either be that boy good, good and terrible. When I walk in the door, I could walk into either that or Drubs, man, let me tell you my story, man. I was in love with this girl, Either that or my favorite, which was him just doing full-blown Sato. I would walk in the door and he'd be like, "So coward, you return." And there's only one way I could answer that, is to settle affairs with father. And then he would only respond with, "And with me." It was great. I wish
Weird Science too. That's another good one.
So good.
Did he have a doll?
What's that?
Did he have a doll?
Did he have a doll? My coworker? No.
Like a voodoo doll?
That would be awesome if he did, though. There's certain things from movies that you want. That's not on my list. For a while, I wanted every photograph that you see in a movie, right? The photograph of Marty with his brother's head disappearing, or the photograph of Linda Hamilton in Terminator, or the photograph at the end of Cool Runnings, or the painting from Ghostbusters 2, or that kind of shit.
Did you ever get any of them?
I got a lot of them.
Really?
Most of them I just found online and printed out, myself.
I thought you meant the originals. I was like,
oh, no. But I did get the painting from Rocky 3, not the original again, but I got a reproduction of it, him and Apollo, about to punch each other. But then, I accumulated all this shit, and then my roommates are like, "Our house is gonna look like a fucking child's playroom. If you have all this shit, you gotta pick and choose." I'm like, all right, the Ghostbusters sign and the Michael Keaton Batman head, they can go in the basement, but the Rocky painting is going on this fucking wall. God damn it!
Oh my gosh! And then slowly they just make their way back up. you know.
They haven't yet. I will admit the craftsmanship on my Ghostbusters sign is not quite up to the snuff that I wish it was. But that's what I get when you buy one for like $10.
My favorite piece of movie memorabilia that I own, it's not even official. I found it on Amazon for like $25. It's a canvas painting version of a still frame from Dumb and Dumber when Jeff Daniels is on the toilet.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Oh my God!
I gotta find a frame for it, and I'm gonna put it right in, like, so that you're looking at it when you're using my toilet.
I want and they make one of these, but it looks like a kid's toy. I want like a high quality version, like a small model of the Eagle 5 from Spaceballs, like the Winnebago with wings.
Yeah.
I just want that.
I'm sure they have the Lego version of that somewhere, honestly.
There is like there's like a Playmobil version, but it's not. It's like $50 and it like looks like a little kid toy. It doesn't look like like you could film
like
it.
The Mandalorian.
No, it's not screen
I
quality. I need it to be a little higher quality than that. But there is a really high quality mini Ed 209 coming out that I am gonna fucking die if I don't get my hands on.
Yeah, I need that.
I just need these like kind
I
of.
had that little stuff too, like that the little movie memorabilia, but most of mine was like television shows like Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 90210 would be my show of choice for that kind of shit. But I don't know what like memorabilia there would be. Like I'm not gonna hang like a Peach Pit work shirt like on the wall or anything.
I met Brian Austin Green when I was like 12, but I have like this huge zit on my nose, and I was like, I like chopped all my hair off and everything, and like I had this huge zit on my nose, and I was like, and he like turned around and smiled at me, and like. I'm like, oh my God, did you just smile at me? I'm like, going like, hi, how are you? I'm a huge dork, but no, 90210 was my shit.
Oh, no, it's the best. I have all 10 seasons on DVD, and it still kills me that they put shitty replacement music all over that show and almost made it unwatchable, but not for me. I still watch it.
Did they put replacement?
Yeah, because they didn't, when you do all the licensing for that shit, they didn't think that home video would ever be like a thing. And the only episode where they don't have music replacement, or it's like the pilot and the graduation episode, because they actually did negotiate for those because they released those both on VHS back in the day. So every other episode.
How Do You Talk to an Angel?
Yeah. That's the song they fucking paid for. So whenever that song's in it, they still,
You remember?
Oh no, wait a minute. Oh no, that's the song they didn't pay for. How Do You Talk to an Angel by Jamie Walters or whatever. Yeah. They cut that shit out. They cut out a lot of his scenes, which kills me from the DVD because they didn't want to.
Like to me, like I didn't find any of those guys attractive until he came on. Like honestly, like he was kind of badass, but I don't know, like I didn't find any of the guys super attractive at all. But
so you like the guy that threw Donna down the stairs?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like,
why not?
Come on. I know Brandon Walsh. I know Brandon and Steve are trash, but come on, David Silver with those moves? Are you kidding me? No. You're not into Scott Scanlon? Did you see his hat? It's a Stetson. I mean, come on.
No,
Luke Perry.
The two that I liked was Kelly and Jamie.
Oh, see, Luke Perry all the way for president still.
Really?
I love Luke Perry. He's like one of my heroes. Anyone who can still be a hunk with a fucking 5 head, I'm a fan of.
Have you ever seen the impersonations of him? You'll never be able to watch 90210 the same again. It's like mad slow, and it's so dramatic, and it's really funny. It's like watching a 90s MTV video.
I get it. Yeah, I know. He was so over the top, but that's what I love about it. Like, who the hell could do that but Luke Perry? No, nobody.
All right.
Jamie could. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah, not as good as Luke, man. Luke Perry was the James Dean of the 90s, you know?
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you there. He definitely stood out more character-wise, you know, but
I get it. He was kind of a dick too, you know. But
yeah, that was a great show. And then Unsolved Mysteries is another one.
Oh.
Came on like Came on like within like a short time after that.
With Robert Stack.
You know, I have an Unsolved Mysteries mashup. I'm gonna,
Oh,
if I still have the privilege, I'm gonna share one last one before I dip because I do have to run in a sec.
This will be the best one
but-
ever.
Oh, wait a minute. Where'd it go?
Oh no.
Wait a second. Try this again here. There it is. So yeah, I just think it's stupid and funny. You know, it's just certain unsolved mysteries. They're gonna bug you forever. You're always gonna wonder, and that's one of them. One of life's great mysteries.
That is so
but
funny. Is that Pat?
That is Pat. Yes, of course. It's Pat. The great Julia Sweeney.
It's like all the forgotten great things, all like kind of squished in the mashup. I think I'm really gonna get along with you good.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, again,
no.
to be a little self-promotional, you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram, Pop Culture Punk. And I see Kreger is the host now, so I do have to bid you guys adieu.
Real quick, before
if
you
you're
go, what do you got coming up on VCR Redux?
VCR Redux tomorrow night. That's Wednesday, October 26th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the final episode of our 4 weeks of horror on VCR Redux when we do Monster Squad 2, and we discover that the Wolfman's still got nards, but they've sagged quite a bit in 35 years. No, it's going to be a great time. You know, there's a live chat. You can pitch your ideas for Monster Squad 2 and be part of the show. As always, you can check us out on Phantom Spotlight and Hollow 9 Network, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, all of those good places. So, and every now and again, when we're really, really lucky, you can see someone from the Punk Rock Geek Den make an appearance over there.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be doing that again very soon.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for having me on.
Chris.
As always, it's a blast.
We love you, buddy.
Love you guys.
time.
I'll talk to you.
It was nice
Talk
to
to
meet
you real soon. Yeah, it's great to meet you too. All right. Bye, guys.
Later, buddy.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, buddy.
Happy Halloween. Every day is Halloween.
We love that guy. He is a great friend of ours. Always have him
Yeah,
on.
we were chatting it up before you guys got on here. I could have sworn I knew him because, you know, sometimes when you meet somebody for the first time, it's like you already knew them when you have a lot in like zoning in common.
Oh, yeah. Life's weird.
We were in the zone.
I'm always in the zone. I try to be. Anyway. But, Rachel, we thank you so much for coming here, dear.
Thank
And
you.
of
Can I
course-
do one last thing before
Yes,
I go?
yeah, you got to do your unboxing. That's right.
I want to do my unboxing. My friend Stephanie, she sent this to me, and I won't give you her full address, but it's Bling by Queenie.
Okay.
So I'm going to unbox it for you guys right now. Hopefully not take my eye out. Some of my unboxing videos don't go so well, so I'm like, "Brr, brr." But,
We love horror here, but we don't need any real bloodshed on the Geek Den.
yes, I like only fake blood. So.
Yeah.
So this is Bling by Queenie, and she does nails, and I'm going to just take a punch at it and say that they're probably holiday nails for Halloween. So,
Ooh.
fancy. All this pink stuff, thank you. No, thank you, okay? Oh my goodness. Look, it's like a little present. Thank you for supporting my small business. In New York, supporting small business is really important for females.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's important anyway.
Ooh.
But sure.
We got gummy bear earrings.
Sweet.
Check those out. Just kidding. Ooh, and we got some nails. Ooh, check this out. Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, sweet.
Right on time, because look at this. For my last movie, I had to do the grossest nails because, you know, my character had a couple problems, financial and otherwise. Ooh, nice. Be able to take care of myself a little better.
Oh, yeah.
Take care of these little cuticle beds
There
here.
you go.
Ooh, and look, we got another present. Gosh, I'm just making up words now. Oh.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, that's awesome.
Look, and it's handmade. You wouldn't be able to tell from
No,
where you are,
not
but
at all. That's badass.
Thank you, Bling by Queenie, and little mask with bunny. Oops, sorry.
Oh, there it is.
There. Oh, good. There it is.
Yeah, wear your mask.
Awesome. Sweet. I love it all. So I'm definitely gonna sport those nails later on Instagram and put those all together when I have a minute. But thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate you letting me vent on the show.
Anytime at
I
all.
just
That
wanted
shit
to
needs
make
be
sure.
said.
Thank you. And I just wanted to make sure that it was known that, I have a lot of positive experiences in this community, in the horror community and the indie community, but I'm no one's victim, ever.
And you shouldn't be.
I should not have to sit in silence and suffer in silence over things being said that were sexually inappropriate.
Not at all.
Dangerous to my well-being. I have children, I have a family, I have things to come back to. For me to be displaced for 6 weeks of my life and not be paid because of some poor excuse that had nothing to do with me, it needs to be addressed. It needs to stop happening repetitively, especially in this indie community, because we're a good community and we need the support and we need people to kind of stick together like glue here, you know? So many people are making magic, and it's unfair to the rest of us for people that abuse the system. So I hope by me speaking out, people are like, are you worried that people are going to outcast you, not want to work with you? No, I'm not. I don't want to work with those people. I don't want to work with people that are worried about cheating on their spouses in front of me. I don't want to worry about that. I'm in a working environment. I shouldn't have to. So if people are afraid to work with me because I do the right thing consistently, be afraid. I don't want to work with people that aren't there for the passion and love of the making of movies and the indie world. That's why I'm here. I'm here to make movies. I'm not here to, make a mess of things. So I'm excited about the new Ghost series that I have going on with Marlon, and you'll be seeing some more stuff in the paranormal community. So that's going to be a lot of fun, some true crime stuff going on. And there will be the Go Straight to Hell series. And I'm kind of making a decision based off the newest behaviors that I see develop from the production company and where they come at me apologetically and financially to make this right before I make a decision on whether or not I will drop out of the movie entirely. So it's really like I'm being more than fair giving the option. So this is definitely not the last you'll see of me in this community. I'm not stopping anytime soon. I'm really having a great time. I'm enjoying myself, and I have every intention on keep on going and to not let anybody stand in my way or strike fear into my heart. And the opposite. I'd like to be that person that's a vigilante for the community.
For sure. And we need it. Like, the community needs it, for sure. That shit needs to be said. That can't be swept under the rug. At all.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. It feels good to get it off my chest and to be able to, warn others about the behavior. And, there's no excuse. Either you take money and you make a movie, or you don't take the money.
Exactly.
There should be no otherwise.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's really fucked up, like, that shit still happens too.
It is.
Like, it's people's lives.
We're stuck in we're stuck in literally the 1920s with it. It's a sexist community. It's misogynistic. There's a lot of undertones that need to be addressed. And, hopefully I start a platform, and thank you for allowing me to use your show as a platform to begin this really important conversation that needs to be said. I came out with this 24 hours before the Baldwin situation came out, and I was concerned about the safety in the community, and rightfully so. And so thank you so much for allowing me to vent and to also promote the wonderful and good things about the community also.
Of course. Yeah, there is a lot of good shit from it. So, we usually don't want to highlight the negative aspect of it, but in this case, something needed to be said about it. And
in order for change to happen, people need to be made uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They need to be made to answer. And accountability is so important. Like, at what point in time do we start raising our hand and saying, this is my problem? This is something I need to address. Like, it needs to be said by more people before things happen that are fatal.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Because it's not a good time. You're there to do a job and provide entertainment for people.
Yeah.
And like, just do that and everything will be hunky-dory.
Right,
Why
exactly.
you gotta
You're
be a
hired to do a
dick?
job. Simple.
Why you
Yeah.
gotta be a dick? Hollywood, and not even in Hollywood, just the movie industry. Grow the fuck up.
Yeah, please. Hold yourself accountable for your actions. That's the main thing that I'm hoping to get across in this is, you know, we're all there to make a movie. We're all there to make a show. And instead it's being made a joke.
Yep.
And there's no movies in the end. And there needs to be accountability for that. Like, there are investors and people that are putting their heart and soul into the community. And I don't want that to stop because of a couple bad eggs. It's wrong. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm here to promote the good, though, too. There's a lot of great that came out, you know, and there are people that go over budget and they take money out of their own pocket to make the magic happen. And those people have nothing but respect from me. Obviously, you know, we have great movies being produced, and I love that I'm able to be a part of a few of them coming out this coming up year.
You said you finished filming House That Eats Flesh. Do we have a release date for that?
They're doing a 2022 release date. I know that Josh decided that he was doing an anthology. Much like we talked about before, there are people that are you really can't depend on in the community to show up every time. Like, these indie projects are paid for afterwards. So, you know, there's reasonable and unreasonable excuses. But because of that, some of these creators are left scammering in the end. So he wanted to give people a full product for what they paid for.
Of course.
And so you might be seeing another indie campaign coming from Josh in order to finish the anthology series, which makes sense, you know, to support the next 2 series of actors. And by his trailer that he just put out 72 hours ago, you can see there's a product being made. So I have faith in this system still, in the indie system. I have faith in it. It's absolute.
For sure.
There are people out there doing the right thing. So I'm proud to be a part of that community.
Absolutely. And you're standing up for what's right in the community as well.
Yep.
And that's important.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Craig, did you have something you wanted to say?
No, I just can't believe the story. It's,
it's
I know how rampant it runs. It's ridiculous.
Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it so much.
Of course.
Yeah, we're definitely here to back that up. Yeah.
Thank you.
That shit, it can't fly. No.
Yep.
Thank you. I love you guys too. And I'm a huge supporter of your show. And, you know, I can't wait to share this. I know that a lot of people were looking forward to it. It's got a lot of juicy little tidbits, but also, in all fairness, like, I'm nobody's punching bag, and I don't deserve that. And I very clearly and publicly posted and put out there and recorded and filmed all my hard work for 6 weeks that was completely discredited by someone drinking on the set that when I wasn't even there. It just, things don't add up to me in this scenario. So I owe it to people. I owe it to my fans, and I owe it to my friends and my family to explain what's going on, especially amidst these horrible rumors. Mental health is nothing to joke around about or screw around with, let alone to place blame on someone else. If you have issues that are mental health related, I do nothing but empathize with you as a person that has them, and my family members also have them. But that's not an excuse to use me as a punching bag. That's wrong. And I hope that everyone gets the help that they need here, and stops using the excuse, because I fully intend on holding them accountable for it, for their behaviors and for their actions.
Absolutely. Now, before we go, I wanted to bring up a buddy of ours in our Punk Rock Dads group. His name's Jacob Bird. His wife passed away yesterday. And he has set up a GoFund. Well, I think think it was his cousin set up a GoFundMe to raise money for medical expenses. Sister? Okay.
Yeah, I believe so.
To raise money for medical expenses, funeral costs, and everything. So we're gonna share the link in the description of this video to get it out there so people can help his family out.
Absolutely. I'm very sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was pretty rough waking up today.
Yeah.
But he's a good dude, and we want nothing but the best for him and his kids.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely share and support all the way. It's such a tragedy to have a sudden situation like that happen. And
now I'm not sure like what the cause was, but like I don't know if it was like they knew it was coming or what, but either way it's horrible, and it's I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Yeah, no, it's never easy to lose someone. So hopefully we can at least as a community support him financially in some way. And I'll definitely share. And my deepest condolences. I'm so sorry.
Absolutely. All our love to Jake.
Yes.
So we've got our Halloween special airing this coming Sunday, which is Halloween. It's my first Halloween off in like a decade. I can't be more excited for it.
Nice.
Oh, I'm sleeping in. That's definitely.
Oh yeah.
Rachel, once again, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure having you here. Anything you need to get off your chest, that's what we're here for.
Thank you guys so much.
I was like, okay, this is gonna be a good one. Stuff to say.
Yeah, thank you. And my play is to try to make a difference. And so hopefully like my voice will be heard, and others that have had similar situations happen to them that are looking for a platform to speak out will be able to find their voice as well. It's not easy being a female actress in this community and potentially having a fearfulness of being blacklisted for standing up and doing the right thing. But I stand fearless in that, because if I am somebody that you don't want to work with because I refuse to put up with negative behavior and sexual exploitation, then don't call me. I do not want to work with you. And I would hope that other people would feel the same way. And so eventually we'll isolate those projects, and there won't be a platform for these people that are creeps to be able to try to use their predatory behaviors on people like myself and others.
Yeah, people like that don't belong in the industry. In any industry.
Yeah.
And so we got into a lot of stuff here today.
Yeah, we did.
This is a good one. We had some laughs. Had some serious drama.
Yes.
It's all good. That's what we're here for. It was fun either way. We thank you again, Rachel. We're looking forward to seeing that movie coming out. House That Eats Flesh.
Yes, The House That Eats Flesh. And that'll be the first of 3 that was already filmed. So it'll be the anthology. And I'll definitely keep everybody up to date with everything. And I have the Go Straight to Hell series being filmed right now, being directed by myself and my new production company, Expeditions Productions, because I had to go independent at this point in time because my trust in other people is just... it's wavered.
You can't trust anybody else to do it. You might as well do it yourself.
That's right. So Expeditions Productions is my new production company, and you can look forward to seeing a lot of really great, clean stuff coming out of that arena.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to all that what you got coming up. We hope some change comes within the community, and soon, because it needs to happen. Stuff is real. There's no bullshit. People need to be safe in any working environment.
Yes.
And so, Rachel, we love you. We thank you. You're beautiful as always. Good luck with everything. We will see you again.
Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. Anytime, dear. Cheers.
Bye, guys. Happy Halloween. Thank you for having me.
Happy Halloween.
Oh boy, there should be some wildlife around here.
Surprise!
The McDonald's Happy Meal guys.
Yep, chicken McNuggets, regular soft drink, and regular fries.
And they aren't lying.
What do you put in your McDonald's Halloween pumpkins?
Booty and McBoo, matey. Carrots and McGoblin. Golden McPumpkin, partner.
Now you can collect one of 3 different pumpkins with the purchase of every McDonald's Halloween Pumpkin Happy Meal. What you put in them is up to you.
Monster Face, the gruesome monster head you make and remake into the most monstrous monsters imaginable.
Now for the test. It works!
Monster Face comes with everything shown here.